Tutankhamun was the most famous pharaoh in Egypt, but his body was completely deformed, all because of a questionable practice and a disease that would drive anyone crazy. What atrocity left the pharaoh's body like that? The Egyptian civilization has always caught the world's attention, but in 1922, a discovery changed history forever. In the middle of the desert, archaeologist Howard Carter found something unique: Tutankhamun's tomb. Mummies weren't a strange occurrence in Egypt. However, this one had a special detail. Despite the passing of time, the tomb was almost intact and full of royal treasures. Anyway, the joy faded away when those who opened it started suffering terrible misfortunes. The idea of Tutankhamun's curse started spreading around the world. What nobody knew was that the curse wasn't outside, but inside the tomb, and Tutankhamun had it in his own body. What did his remains hide? The tests done on the mummy revealed that the pharaoh was weak, small, and skinny. He had suffered from several diseases and congenital deformities, such as wide hips, elongated head, scoliosis, cleft lip, avascular necrosis, malaria, and flat feet. Moreover, he was missing some phalanges. The avascular necrosis was destroying his bones, and he couldn't move his neck normally because two of his vertebrae were joined, so he spent most of his life sitting down. But why was his body so deteriorated? His power couldn't hide the terrible abomination with which he was born. The pharaoh was the fruit of a practice that, although today is considered deplorable, used to be very common in the ancient world. In fact, it was done for centuries, especially among the nobility and powerful families. What destroyed Tutankhamun's body? The answer is incest. His family had been practicing it for years as a way to purify the lineage. In fact, according to some historians, his parents may have been siblings. Big mistake. Because of that, Tutankhamun experienced the torments of incest his whole life. Moreover, he may have fallen victim to something else. Inside his tomb, 130 canes were found, as at 19 years old, he was barely able to walk, together with the mummies of his two unborn children. Tutankhamun's genetic material was definitely defective, and he couldn't procreate, but it may have been for the best because, according to the historians, they would have suffered the same physical conditions as their father. However, one of the craziest consequences that incest left in the pharaoh's body was gynecomastia, an unusual growth of the male breasts due to hormonal imbalance. That condition might explain why Tutankhamun was depicted in art in an androgynous way. However, other tests have refuted this theory. What is clear is that incest ended up deforming the pharaoh's body, who unfortunately passed away at 19 years old. A real tragedy. Did you know this? Always demand to know more.